Hey guys, it's Zach here. Before we get into this episode, I just want to give a quick disclaimer on this episode. So, from the 18-minute mark till about the 33-minute mark, the audio unfortunately desynced on our Discord call while we were recording this, so it sounds really bad and choppy. You can still hear me clearly, but Javi and Abby, you unfortunately can't. So, if you guys want to take a listen, you can, but I will be posting some timestamps for you guys to be able to skip the section and hear the rest of the episode, because thankfully the rest of the episode does sound very clear. So thank you guys for understanding that, and we're sorry for that issue, but enjoy the rest of the episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Unscheduled Podcast. It is a pleasure to say that I am your host, Javi, and today we are covering our predictions for the World Cup final and the third place playoff. But as I said, it is we, and I am not alone. Today I'm joined by Zach.
Hey, how's it going? Oh
and
god, my voice is
Abby.
shot.
Good job.
Understandable. Yeah, and
Understandably
also,
so. It is quiet hours over here on campus because finals, so I was not screaming, but I did run around the apartment like 2 times.
yes, but speaking of that voice, we're also joined by Abby.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, pero mira, sabi for with your face.
Yeah, there we go.
I-
There we go.
I just gotta ask, how are you two feeling?
Besides my throat being shot, I'm feeling ecstatic.
I am
Yes.
so happy. I am very happy.
Absolutely. We'll get more into that. But yeah, no, just to like sort of preface, it's just been incredible covering this World Cup. I think it was Zach. Whose idea was it to cover the World Cup? Was it you, Zach, or was it Abby?
I was definitely talking about it. We've been talking about it because we were always just like, oh, maybe it'd be cool to talk about the World Cup when it was done. And then we
Yeah.
kind of just like evolve into this full-fledged thing. So
Absolutely.
like you really
Yeah,
took the
no.
lead on this though, so props to you for that.
No, I appreciate that, but it's just been. I think it's just been just a great. How how sports are in general. This
Yeah.
podcast has been just such a great shared experience.
Right.
But this is the gets into it. We gotta talk sports.
Right. All right.
So
Right. Let's
yeah,
pull it
so
up.
let's yeah, so uh we're gonna talk about the third place match first, and then we'll go into the final.
Right.
We
Sounds good.
predicted 2-1 in favor of Morocco, and then
Yeah, I called it a
yeah,
shootout, and unfortunately, it went
uh,
the other way, the
yeah,
exact opposite.
yeah. So unfortunately, the game kind of went like this. Unfortunately, so
Yeah.
Croatia struck first,
Yeah.
and it was a beautiful diving header by
Right.
Gavardio. I don't know if you saw saw the highlights, but it was
No,
beautiful.
I did see the
header.
highlights. So to
Yeah.
preface this, Abby and I both didn't watch this game because I was
Mhm.
unfortunately in the middle of I was in the middle of something, and then Abby I think was
Gotcha. Yeah, no, but Gavardio with a beautiful, diving
Mhm.
header to make Robin van Persie jealous, and then almost immediately, Morocco strikes back with another header from Ashraf Dari. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, Morocco just could not really hold on as they have done, up until this point, really.
Right.
Um, and they conceded again, I believe, in the 42nd minute, I want to say. Um, and yeah, that was just a rough game for Morocco. We're talking about, I would have really loved to have seen Morocco win, because I know there's been this discourse about how the third place match has no like inherent value. But the thing is that might be true for neutral fans and people that don't really pay that much attention to the World Cup. But it definitely has a lot of meaning to the players and the people who support these countries. Because when you saw Croatia, Modric is a Champions League winner, La Liga title winner, Club World Cup winner, and he celebrated um that third place medal, like, as if it was like the best thing he's ever gotten. It's like
Right.
he really relished that. So I don't want to make too much of the conversation about other people's perspectives on this match, but it's just something that kind of ticked me off a little bit, and I'm really happy to see Croatia
Right.
really relish this moment. But it's unfortunate that Morocco couldn't really hold on and make a comeback.
Nothing to sneeze at out of what a total of 32 countries?
Yep,
Yeah, the top 32. Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at whatsoever.
absolutely not. No,
Especially being
and
the only African nation to make it to, the the quarterfinals.
The semifinals.
Or yeah, excuse me, semifinals. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
both
yeah.
are true. I think either way.
Well, I mean, I thought you were talking about like in this World Cup they were the only ones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like yeah, because there have been other
Right. Right.
quarterfinalists from Africa. But yeah, no, absolutely. It's something to definitely be proud of. And this World Cup is definitely it's definitely emboldened Morocco because I remember after the match, Walid Barigi,
Yeah.
he talked about how he doesn't want to stop here. He wants to go on and
Right.
win the AFCON and make sure that Morocco this isn't sort of like a one-off thing. I think he's really trying to set the foundation for
Right.
consistent participation in the World Cup and constantly challenging for trophies in AFCON, which is
Right.
great.
Right. No, that's totally valid, especially with like, I think this put the world on notice. Like especially this World Cup, like the world was put on notice. Like there was just so much to say about this World Cup because like looking at it, we had so many upsets, so many like giant slayers. The fact of the matter is, none of this World Cup went as anyone predicted, as we've seen with our prediction bracket.
No, absolutely. And I mean, again, I feel like I always say this to about the teams um that we didn't predict to win, but props to Croatia. I mean, they definitely they showed out. They controlled the game, they controlled the tempo, and they definitely dictated the flow of play in the second half, and they really killed it off.
Mm-hmm.
They suffocated Morocco's chances, and I mean, huge props to them.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's really all I have to say about the third place playoff, unless you guys have something.
I mean, Abby, do you have anything to say about it?
I really have nothing to say because I did not care at all about this game. Like I 100% could have watched it, but I forgot, and then when I got reminded that I was currently on, I'm just like, oh well.
That's sad. I was kind of watching this
Yeah.
game half asleep with my uncle because he's visiting us for the
Mm,
for holidays, and yeah. We're just kind of casually watching it. Definitely not the same. Of course, it's not going to be the same vibes as like an actual semifinal or as like a final, but
right.
yeah,
Right.
it was a bit of a sleepy match, but um, it was still a good watch, I would say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean,
And now for the elephant in the room.
yeah. I say I
Yep.
missed that game, but yeah. Moving on.
So we predicted Argentina 3, France
3-1.
1.
Abby being
was
biased
right.
as hell was
If
Was-
only it had
if
been
on-
that simple, it would have been a lot better for our
right.
hearts, that's for sure.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And it actually almost was that simple. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
Argentina drew first blood in the 23rd minute Stonewall penalty,
Yeah.
honestly.
No.
Stonewall penalty.
100%. 100%.
Um
And then
and
Messi
then
doing his thing.
yep. Showing why he's why Argentina is there. He's been a consistent leader throughout
Yeah.
this entire tournament, and I mean that's what's one thing I remember. I mean, and I when I was younger and dumber, one of my main criticisms of Messi was that he was more of a leader. He wasn't as much of a leader as I would have wanted from, a key player.
Right.
Because in my mind, my definition of a leader was someone that, barked orders, really got up in players' faces, stood up for the teammates, which Messi does do. Um, but Messi showed what he like how you can lead through action, through, you know, just just inspiring his teammates to continuously keep on
Right.
fighting, and that
Right.
was definitely present, especially in the extra time. But
Yeah.
yeah, no,
100%.
yeah, and then Argentina scored again at 36th minute, and I I remember thinking to myself because Zach, we were watching this game together,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was just thinking to myself, man, this could get really ugly. Actually, this could get
Yeah.
really ugly because
Yeah.
up to that
Definitely.
point, France only had one shot and it was off target. It came off of an errant chance that Giroud headed over the bar, and I was really thinking to myself, if Argentina gets the third goal before the second half, we might be talking about one of the worst World Cup finals,
Yeah.
and just in terms of like in terms of
Competition.
competition,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
would have been pretty bad.
No,
but it
I
did not turn out
agree.
that way.
No,
It did
not
not
at
turn
all.
that way. Argentina, I think something that really hurt them was bringing on Acuna, because I feel like that really invited a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. Because Acuna himself is not a bad player,
No.
but putting on a player who is more he plays usually as like a left wing back,
Yeah.
which means he can operate, obviously as a left back and go forward when his team has the ball.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but putting someone like that on as left wing definitely invites pressure and allows teams to sort of like see that, hey, they're definitely going to try and lock that side down. We need to find ways to go around us,
Right. Right.
and that's what they started doing. In the 80th minute, Mbappe slots. Well, France got a penalty, and Mbappe coolly slots that penalty. I will say Martinez did, in fairness, did get a hand to it.
Yeah.
Um, but man, Mbappe, nerves of steel, really. I mean, he stood up and was
Yeah.
counted.
I
Um,
mean,
and
especially like I feel like he definitely needed to prove himself after like the last two games. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, no, he was very ineffective against Morocco.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I definitely agree. He definitely needed to prove himself, and he did it again, scoring p- pretty much in the next minute.
Yeah.
And what a and a beautifully taken goal. So I think it was a volley.
Yeah. No. No. It was really good, and then Martinez just barely touching
He
both.
barely again, yes, barely touched it. That was, I mean, I was yelling at the TV.
Yeah. Oh no. No.
I
No. Just
what I said about Martinez, that it should not be reproduced. This would not be safe for children to hear.
Abby, if you've ever wanted to see Javi so animated, like it is amazing and so funny. We were watching with some friends of ours, and like they were shocked to see how animated he was, like yelling at the TV in like this entire game. And we're like, no, this is par for the course of when you're passionate about something. Like he was all in, and
And
it
I
was
wish I
just
was there to see it.
in a way it's funny, in another way it's just that shows how much emotion there is.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the best things about sports is that like it brings out different sides of people that you don't usually see, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I think sports in general just have this ability to sort of like bring out another side of you, whether
Right.
it's good or bad.
Right.
um,
Right.
Whether it's
but
good or bad, TBD.
yeah, it's if we win, it's good. If it's not,
Yeah. No, but I mean, I,
but,
I remember we were talking about this, and then like our friend who was there, he was literally asking us like, oh, so how likely is this for me to shut out, or like who's the favorites and stuff, and we were talking stats, kind of talking
yeah,
what to keep an eye on, who to keep an eye on for, because they were, funny enough, like they were rooting for France, so it was really funny to kind of go through that. And then like I know for them they really had no like they really didn't, at the end of the day, weren't like super pressed on who won. They were just
yeah,
doing it to kind of like have a rivalry with stuff.
yeah. No, they had no horse in this race, but I
Right.
mean, they still made it fun.
No, they definitely did. Like they were so passionate for France by the end of the game, especially like France on that third, like, or Dembele on the second, not Dembele, God, Mbappe on the second one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
It was wild to see that. And then on top of that, just like they were having so much fun. And then the our friend also yelling at France's goalie of
Oh
like,
yeah.
what the hell, you can't stop anything. And it was so funny.
It's funny because like I don't know. I think our friend might have a bit of short memory because honestly, yours kept France in the game. Honestly, like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like yours, I don't have the exact
Yeah.
stats up, but yours definitely made a couple of key saves.
Oh no, he
Yeah,
definitely did.
Okay, yeah, Argentina had 10 shots on target,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that means yours at least made 7 saves.
Right. Which I
Um,
it's wild, like looking at. I mean, just to give some stats here. Like the fact of the matter is, France only had 10 shots total, 5 on target,
yeah,
and one of those went in.
yeah,
Argentina had 20 shots, 10 on target, and 2 of those went in. And then it's just the fact of the matter is like France's shots were equal to Argentina's shots on target, and they still tied 3.
yeah,
Says a lot.
yeah. No, I mean,
Fucking handball. I'm sorry, like the moment I like saw that moment when I was watching the television, or I was literally watching this game on my phone
Yeah.
because I pulled it up on my phone and I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm just watching it on my phone.
Yeah.
And like I saw that moment happen in slow motion because I could just see it bounce off his arm, and I'm like, fuck, this is where they tie it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
I
Yeah.
was
saw that. I was
so
like,
fucking
no.
mad.
No, I was more
Oh,
upset with the first penalty. Not gonna lie, because I saw that. I'm like, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's
Oh
just,
yeah. Yeah, dude.
oh my
Otamendi.
god, I lost my
Honestly,
mind.
yeah. Honestly, Otamendi. He's very. He's a lucky man. Argentina won. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
to you. Uh,
Yeah.
because that penalty had an immediate like sort of impact
Right. Oh
because
no, no. It revived France. Like it
yeah,
truly
because
revived France.
because that one chance, like France had like another chance like early, like 5 minutes before that was
Yeah.
like, but like they were knocking on the door, but that really, that woke up the beast inside of France. Like you
Yeah.
could like they were running through and
Yeah.
just getting past anyone, and it was just preposterous. But yeah, that was regulation. Then we went to extra time.
Oh my
Oh,
god. That's where I lost my voice. I'm not gonna lie. That is where
yeah,
I lost my voice because
yeah,
Messi's beautiful goal. Like I wish we could pull up the highlight for that and just like
yeah.
break it down and stuff, but
Hmm.
oh my god. It's very rare we ever don't see a goal that stays in the goal. Like it's
Yeah.
extremely rare, and the fact of the matter is like I'm glad they didn't have to take it to VAR or anything. But like
No, yeah, yeah.
the fact of the matter is like it was so weird because our friends were caught off guard and they were like, wait, that's a goal. And I'm like, yeah, because and to explain it to
Across
people
the
in case you don't
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
the ball has to cross the line in that box of the or in the net in this case, but it's not so much that it gets to the back of the net, it has to cross the line.
Yep. Yeah,
So
so
like,
like to give you an idea, in theory, a player could like dribble the ball into the goal, just stop, and it would be a goal.
yeah,
Like it wouldn't have to touch the net.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, so they care
Um,
more about getting it on that line or
okay,
getting it
quick
past that
question
line.
about that.
Yeah, what's up?
If
yeah.
you like fall and the ball follows you, is that still a goal?
Depends where the ball
What
goes.
do you
Because, like,
mean?
let's say I trip while dribbling and then me and the ball fall into the net. Is that still a goal? I guess.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
In
Yeah,
theory,
there's no
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's no
I
reason why there
actually,
shouldn't be a goal.
yeah, I actually think there have been some goals that way where like players will literally like take it on the body and fall with the ball into
Yeah, like, unless you touch it with your hand, there's no reason why
the
that shouldn't
right.
be a
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, no, that was an amazing moment because like just the pandemonium of like the
oh
shot
yeah,
and then the confirmation that the ball had actually gone in
yeah.
was so
That replay, we
exhilarating.
were like, everyone was just like, no, that like all of France saying, no, that's not a goal. Then we looked at that replay and we were like, damn right, it's a goal. Don't you dare take that from
Yeah,
us.
I mean, major props to Kunde. He busted a gut to get
Oh
back and
yeah,
try and cover for Yoris.
oh yeah,
Unfortunately, he was just he was too deep in the net. Unfortunately, that's
yeah.
the
No,
that's unfortunately a mistake some players make when they are trying to defend on the line. They're like inside the goal, which is just
yeah,
like that's
right.
unfortunately a bit of a cardinal sin because honestly, goalkeepers they're not inside the goal.
You're
They're on the
no,
line for a reason.
if you're the goalkeeper, you do not break that line. The back
Yeah,
of your heel does not pass that line.
yeah,
It is very rare I've ever seen a goalie break that line or ever, and even to less success. But if they've ever gotten behind that line, it's only ever times I've seen them. It's just solely for positioning and to be able to block something. Actually,
yeah,
and I mean like they have to literally work around players to like stop a ball. But
yeah,
that besides that, a goalie never goes past.
yeah. Because like just to give you a bit of context, I used to play as a goalkeeper. I used to train as a goalkeeper, and one of the things my trainer used to tell me was you should never fall back as a goalkeeper because the line is behind
You
you.
know what?
So you go ahead.
No, no, I was gonna have I have a beautiful way of explaining this to Abby.
Okay.
Just think about it, and this is gonna be such a weird anime reference, but think about it like Whitebeard. Just clean back.
Oh,
That's a goalie right
Ah,
there.
I see.
Yeah, that
okay.
is a goalie. Clean
I, I,
back.
s-
Nothing gets through.
still need to catch up to One Piece, which oh man, who knows when that
Yeah.
will be? Oh god. But yeah,
Good
Hey,
luck.
someone said he wins the race.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember my trainer telling me, yeah, you should never fall back or like lean back when you're making a save, because that invites the opportunity for you to let the ball go past you.
Yeah.
You always want to go towards the ball, never
Yeah.
never actually lean back, because like the mentality, like sometimes when goalkeepers do that is like, oh, I need to give myself more time to adjust, but it's not you're fighting a losing battle at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the third goal for Argentina.
Yeah. And, oh my god.
And then we got another penalty for France. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This goal was a bit more controversial. I will say it is a textbook handball, even though like and like you remember we were talking about intent
Right.
these
Right.
penalties, but the thing is intent doesn't and shouldn't matter in these contexts, because like if you clean out someone in the box, whether or not you meant to, that shouldn't really, have an effect on whether or not the
Right.
referee gives a penalty, in my opinion.
I mean, it was just a matter of the fact of like the positioning. It wasn't like he was trying to put his body in front of it that way. It was just more of like the
Yeah.
ball hit off and it hit him that way. And
No, yeah.
at that point, it's like and I'm used to. I'm like I played soccer / football before too, and I've been center mid. I've been in the center defensive mid. That was like my area. I've been fullback, and I'm literally, as they say, in the bodies as they go. And sometimes you're just kicking the ball, trying to get it out, and your hand might like you don't have full control of like your at all times. Sometimes when you're just trying to go for the ball, and especially when you're just trying to clear it. Sometimes,
Yeah.
So to me, it was definitely unfortunate, and I can understand why it was a penalty. I don't think it should have been, but I can understand. So it's like I don't know. I guess it's a discussion for like FIFA as a whole to have on if it's warrant to.
I mean, there's been revisions to penalty rule anyways. I mean, like, I remember it used to be like, no matter what, if the ball hit the hand of the defender in the box, it would be a penalty.
Right.
But now it's like if the handy is like in a quote unquote natural position, or if it's stuck to your body, then it won't be a penalty.
Right.
And also if a player is making a slide tackle, let's say for example, and it hits like their arm on like the pivot arm,
Yeah.
it also it won't be, because like that's a natural motion for a player to be making, right?
Yeah.
So actually, in my opinion, I think FIFA has actually been much more lenient about how they enforce penalty rules and the handball rule, the penalty aspect. Yeah.
Which just in a way, like Abby and I were talking about this the other. This World Cup has had a lot of penalty kicks, not just like extra time penalty kicks, but just penalty kicks as a whole.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I would say, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna remember every single penalty, but I feel like there haven't been, in terms of penalties, there haven't been really that many controversial calls, in my opinion.
No, definitely not.
The most controversial thing has been how much extra time they've been giving, honestly.
Yeah.
That's,
Like,
I mean, that's controversial in a sense, but I think that's mostly people I talk to, I would say, are understanding of it. They like understand why they're doing it. And personally, I hope to see that incorporated like beyond the World Cup, if I'm completely honest with you.
I mean, I agree to an extent on that.
I know. In the World Cup, talking about how could maybe have a bit of a formal for players just to just drag on them that add more to their workload. But I feel like hopefully this is all talk about extra time. And some have a sort of people talking about like why there's so much extra time. Players act and encourage behavior that allows for so much time. But yeah, I won't be the first to that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot of extra time. I was actually genuinely more surprised at the lack of extra time this time around, because we got I think 7 or 8 minutes at the end of the second half, and I thought it was going to be like 10, 11 minutes with everything that had happened.
I fully expected to be like 10, 11, like even 12 minutes of extra time this match. But no, it ended up being 8, which really surprised me.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it might be because he was expecting it to go till the very end, so that's why he didn't give more maybe potentially, but that kind of
no, because I'm doing so.
Okay, yeah. So I think just looking at it, like overall, I mean, looking at the stats and stuff, fouls are just a part of the game, and then hands are tough. I will say, especially because I mean, the rulings of like. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
But this was not a clean game by any means.
No.
Just to put it out there, like Argentina had 26 fouls in total, but France wasn't much better with 19.
Wow.
And yeah. I mean, no red cards surprisingly, and very
little.
Yeah. Yes or no, depends on how you look at it.
I mean, how many
Argentina ended with 5, and France ended with 3. So
okay, that's more than I remember.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, one of those yellow cards to France was for a player that wasn't even playing anymore.
Oh yeah.
I lost it, and we were all like, "What are you doing?"
Those are always funny when it's like the player yelling, like sending these towards the referee.
Yeah.
You know, referees really do have like again, honestly, like most a lot of referees. There are some referees who should not be named. Definitely do not have high tolerance for that kind of stuff.
Right.
But referees really like considering how players get I feel like so much shit behind their back. It really takes a lot.
No, most definitely, and shout out to refs in that sense of like they really do take some, but at the same time, it's like there are some very questionable calls, especially in this game. There were some calls that we were like really late on the plays, or we were genuinely surprised they even got called at all. So we'd like it's obviously no ref is going to be perfect and like call everything accurately, but there are refs who you have to question at times how they got to the games or how they're even there.
Yeah.
I
mean, to be fair, that's also another thing to consider is like considering how much money these games generate, right?
Yeah.
Refs actually don't get paid that much, honestly. I don't know exactly that, but most of them don't break like a lot of them don't break six figures really. So yeah, they really don't get paid as much money as they considering how much the sport generates in terms of money.
I was also gonna say, like, just to take something into consideration, refs are actually a lot older across the board than most of the players. So they're like, these are older guys that are dealing with like guys coming up yelling in their face and like going off about it, and that's not to excuse anything. It's just more of like the amount they put up with, and the amount of years they probably have under their belts too, and then the physical requirement they have to do for it too.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, they have to do a good for the game too.
Yeah, like refs have.
I see time for the rest of
It's very rare that I've seen a ref subbed off, and it's most of the time to when I've seen they've been subbed off is either they themselves have been injured, or like there's been some kind of not suspicion, but like challenge to like, are they calling this game fairly?
Right.
Yeah, but that's the only times I can say I've ever seen a ref subbed off. I've never it's more injury than anything.
Yeah. Going back to your point about refs general, like I know Michael Oliver, I think he started refereeing Premier League games at least a few years ago.
Right.
He's like one of the younger ones. I think it was the youngest one at the World Cup. He's 37.
Yeah. That says that's the youngest at the World Cup. That's quite a bit.
Yeah. That should tell you a lot about the age. I mean, I feel like you definitely for referees, you definitely have to build a reputation of being a decent referee, in my opinion, especially at a World Cup. Like supposedly they should be, for a World Cup they should be best across multiple confederations.
Right.
Again, there's another ref in the Argentina game. He shut off his name, completely lost it. He will be retiring at the end of this season.
Oh, that's good. There you go.
Obviously, he's a bad guy, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to that penalties, man. I expected to be a lot more nervous during the penalties, but I was leaving it no worries.
No kidding.
More nervous and excited.
Oh
absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think we've talked about this before, that there are teams we've seen who come into these penalties, they're clearly not ready for penalties. And in all honesty, I don't think France was ready for it. Like mentally, maybe physically, they could have been ready for it, and strategy wise, but
Yeah.
mentally, it did not look they were there. Especially like Mbappe. I'll give it to Mbappe. That's just Mbappe. He's one of the titulars. You basically expect him to score, but after that, like it wasn't there in my head.
Yeah, no. I think who was the other player? Because obviously Argentina made all four penalties to win the game.
Right.
I know Tchouaméni missed one.
Tchouaméni, and it was
who's penalty was the later?
Coman.
Coman, yes,
Coman was the one.
Yeah. I mean, big props to Martinez. By the way, I mean, he I'm gonna be honest with you, he had a bit of a stinky game.
Yeah. He definitely redeemed himself.
He redeemed himself. I will say that he definitely redeemed himself. But and also with the block before we went to penalties. He had a huge save from Colomani. So definitely big props to him for that. But yeah, Martinez definitely didn't do the penalty. But man, I really feel for Tchouaméni and Coman because Tchouaméni he was holding down the midfield. He was acting as the anchor for that French midfield. And no matter how hard it got, he kept them in the game. Creating those passes. Right. Yeah, it was really tough. And like I said, I think France they just weren't ready. They looked like
yeah, and it showed. It reflected, and and this is something like I'm not gonna say this is a definite, because like definites are very hard when it comes to the sport. Usually the only definite you ever see is like the stats post game, but not pre or during the game. But I would say France, I don't think was expecting the hardest time, especially with like arguably, and again, I no disrespect to the countries they played against, they kind of coasted for a while through most of their games, and I think they just, while they did have that survival instinct, I don't think they had the foresight of, okay, what happens if we go here to penalty.
Yeah, definitely.
True, because like France got penalties even during this World Cup.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know Argentina did against
the Netherlands. Yeah.
So at least they had that under their belt and back practice.
Yeah. Speaking of the Netherlands, it's kind of scary or similar to the Netherlands match and today's match, because Argentina also leading 2-0 in that match, and then in the 88th minute, Welp scored off of a free kick, and then he scored another goal. And then Argentina winning 2-0 at that point.
Yeah.
And it's can't be one. Maybe Argentina should try, either avoid scoring a second goal or just immediately go for their third one after scoring a second one, because these guys cannot defend that 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Man,
it was a stressful match to watch.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
100%. I mean,
like no doubt whatsoever.
I mean, for both sides, it was stressful, 100%. Because like even though Argentina would keep getting the lead, France would always come back, and it's just like, putos, can you stay down?
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, that was just a fantastic match. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but that to me was the best World Cup final I've ever seen. Just in terms of pure entertainment value.
Probably agree with just the literal blood, sweat, tears, and like grit that was shown. I can't think I don't think I can disagree with that, because like they really just put it all, they left it all out there. Like there's no other way to really say it.
Yeah, because I mean, France-Croatia was a good match in terms of like there was a lot of goals scored, and Croatia started mounting a comeback when they scored, but they kind of left too little too late. I mean, France kind of killed the game off at 4-1. And then Croatia scored, and then that was a good game to watch. We watched that one together too, Zach. I remember actually. Yeah. And then 2014 was there were a lot of good opportunities, I remember. But unfortunately, I kind of joke about this. I joke about this with my brother, but I mean, yeah, it is true. Argentina, those forwards for Argentina really let Argentina and Messi down. They missed a couple of sitters. And then
Right.
2010 was pretty entertaining. I remember,
That one was really good because Netherlands and
Yeah.
Spain were going back and forth on that one. Like,
hmm
and that was only by one goal from yeah, God, and that was only from one goal after
Yeah.
an extra time that they scored. So,
Yeah.
and by
Yeah.
Iniesta, and that, and that was an incredible World Cup game too. So like, so I think this one, I would argue, yeah, this one definitely surpassed it.
hmm
But there's definitely a level of kind of like just depends in the moment. But yeah, this one was, you couldn't script this if you tried.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. From Argentina going 2-0 up, and then being equalized, and
Yeah,
then both teams scoring in extra time. By the
yeah,
way, which is honestly insane. Um, to have that mental fortitude to not only from France to not only go down,
yeah,
um, but to score, and then to look so dangerous, closing
yeah,
out the extra
yeah.
time. I mean, major props to them.
Oh yeah, no, like it's just it was a lot to go through, and a lot. It's just, I mean, Abby was messaging me, like texting me the entire time of like, "Let's go," and like, "No, what are
Yeah.
you doing?"
Yeah, it was a very much an emotional roller coaster watching the game, but
Yeah,
I do not regret
Absolutely
skipping
not.
my studying to watch it.
yeah. Oh my God, Abby, don't admit
Oh my
that.
goodness,
You
Abby.
didn't have to admit
What?
that.
Okay,
I'm
so
going to,
we're
honestly.
gonna send this recording to Abby's professors.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
Oh my
it's just
God.
one exam, thankfully,
So
so
yeah, but
nothing too
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, not only that though, like the amount. I mean, coming out to like the penalties though, and Argentina clearly winning out here, 4-2, and getting every single penalty, which is also really hard to do too. Just
Yep.
like usually there's
Yeah, I
at
was
least
actually
one miss.
100%ing them. Yeah, exactly. I was expecting at least one miss just to like keep the suspension on, but no, they got all of them in, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, suck it, France. But
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. No. But if you guys don't mind, I want to kind of talk briefly about some of the awards, individual awards that were awarded after the game ended.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So obviously Messi won Golden Ball. Really no
Right.
to about that.
Right.
7
Right.
goals, 4 assists, and then everything else that he did during
I
the
mean,
tournament. I mean,
well
100%.
deserved. Well
Well
deserved.
deserved. Absolutely. I mean, if France had won, Mbappe would have definitely gotten that, in my opinion, because he
Yeah.
also made huge
Yeah.
contributions. Especially that kind of performance at a final is just preposterous.
Yeah.
But speaking of Mbappe, he got the Golden Boot for scoring 8 goals, which is
Yeah.
just. I mean, this guy, I definitely think he's a shoe-in to break the record for most goals scored in a World Cup.
Depending on
Mo
how it
most
goes in the future, yeah.
Yeah, no, because I believe the current record is 16 by Klose, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm,
holy shit, that's a
Um,
lot.
yeah, I mean, Klose, he was a monster for Germany.
yeah.
He really was
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I can definitely see it happening. And then Enzo Fernandez, one young player, which I mean, you could have really you were kind of spoiled for choice, Argentina in the aspect because you have Julian Alvarez,
Right. Yeah. That's
Alexis
who I thought was
McAllister.
gonna.
I could
Alvarez or
I could have seen,
McAllister were the two who I thought was gonna like. Those were the two my top two picks.
yeah,
But I'm not
Alexis
not to say that it's
McAllister.
a bad pick. I'm just like I was just surprised.
Yeah, no, but I mean, all props to Fernandez. He played wonderful
Oh
today.
yeah.
He's really everything that you expect out of a modern midfielder, getting out of pressure,
Right.
carrying the ball forward, and then being in those dangerous areas to create those chances. I mean, he was
He was
amazing today.
very close, I think,
I
on a few attempts too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Benfica, who currently owns him, they're going to be they're probably rubbing their hands right now. They're gonna
Yeah.
get a lot of money from him either in the winter or next summer for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Uh, so yeah. And then I don't want to I don't like, but like and then we have the last award, Emilio Martinez Golden Glove.
I'm not.
Now,
I don't know. So this is actually something I have to ask you. Do they pick out of the two final teams, or do they pick
that's
out of the
that's
entire
that's
tournament?
that's the thing because I remember the immediate example that comes to me is I remember in 1998 or 19 yeah, it was 1998. um Conejo, who played for Costa Rica, he shared the Golden Glove with another goalkeeper who I don't know if they even got to the final. And so that's why I was wondering, like, I'm pretty sure they don't have to give the Golden Glove to a
Yeah.
keeper from the finals. Because I mean, I guess you would think to yourself, oh yeah, it would make sense that a goalkeeper that good would go all the way to the final, right? But
Right.
like
Right.
in my opinion, Martinez really did not have that good of a World Cup. I mean,
Yeah,
in my opinion, it would have been between Livakovic and Bono. I'm leaning more
yeah,
towards Bono because
yeah.
Bono had a lot of shutouts up until the semifinal,
Right.
and he made some really key saves against oh
I mean, just going
Spain,
through,
Spain,
yeah,
Spain.
Spain.
Yeah,
No, not
against
only
Spain.
that, Spain, Portugal, and Belgium too. Like he was
Yeah,
just. I mean, keep in mind, for the up until I think the France game, Morocco had not been scored on. And correct me
yeah.
if I'm wrong.
They hadn't been scored on. They received one goal from an own goal.
Yeah,
So up until that point, they
yeah.
hadn't conceded
No, so they
a
were doing
conceded goal
so
from an
good they
opposite
had
player.
scored on themselves.
Yeah, honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So like,
I don't know. I don't want to take away from Argentina's win. I don't want to take away from
right,
Martinez in general because I mean,
right,
he played amazing in the Copa America last year,
yeah,
and he was the big part of that title run.
right,
And clearly he's been fundamental to these recent Argentina titles.
right, right.
Um, but in my personal opinion, it should have been between Livakovic of Croatia and Bono of Morocco.
Yeah, I
But I mean,
agree.
yeah, no.
I agree.
Um, all the credit to him and to Argentina for winning this final. And I mean, I just have to say, I mean, sort of just to like uh sort of round out this episode, I guess. I'm gonna miss this feeling of the
Yeah,
World Cup. I mean,
yeah,
just the fervor, a lot, the unanimity, and just the sense of togetherness that the World Cup brings. It's just so wonderful.
yeah.
And I'm gonna miss that. I mean, we have the Women's World Cup coming up
7 months, yeah,
next
seven
summer.
months, a month. So
Yeah,
hey, maybe
yeah,
we'll be
absolutely.
back.
Yeah,
Abby,
maybe. Yeah.
you think you want to be back for that?
Um, TBD, I've actually never seen women's soccer, and it's not because like I actively avoided it. I just like never. It wouldn't get advertised. I feel like so I never actually
No,
No.
watched
I'll be
it.
Yeah.
honest. The first Women's World
Yeah.
Cup I ever watched, and it was the finals of USA versus Japan. Which says a lot.
Oh,
Which
okay.
says
Yeah.
a lot. I think it was
Yeah.
the 2000 like 14. I think 2014, 2015, around that circa. And I had first heard about that, and it was the first time I ever watched it because we were just looking through. I think we were at a restaurant and we just saw it on the TV there, and which says a lot
Yeah.
of how much has changed in terms of the advertising for it. But
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
I was genuinely surprised. I was like, why have I never heard of this? Because it was an amazing game, and I'm just like, why did no one tell me about this?
Yeah.
So
I mean, thankfully, women's sports in general is getting a lot more funding
yeah,
and advertising
yeah,
and investment. So I'm really happy about that.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if we're all on board for that, yeah, I'm definitely down to come back and cover the Women's World Cup
I
because that would be a lot of fun.
Considering how much fun I had with this, I'd be 100% in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then that it'll be the summer, but if it weren't the summer, it would be another great excuse for Abby to avoid her studying.
Now I can avoid job applying.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
Abby,
there you
no.
go.
Abby,
Yeah.
no.
Whoa.
Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
gosh. But yeah, actually one thing I do want to touch for before,
Uh-huh.
not only just the awards, after we got into the awards and everything. There's some discussions I think we also need to have for the people who aren't on. There are
Mm,
two in particular who I'm thinking of. And one is
okay.
Argentina's head coach, who I always I'm horrible at names, so Argentina's head coach, oh my god, why am I blanking on his name?
Scaloni.
Scaloni.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was his first World Cup, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Damn, beginner's luck.
Not
kidding,
even like
of
that
course
was.
it
I was
was.
gonna
Of
say
course.
like, is it beginner's luck though? Like, God.
I just wanted to make the
damn.
joke. Genuinely, no, Mans did his job.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I mean,
think he had like the best team to work with too.
yeah, I mean, full credit to him. I mean, he had so many options. I think he definitely took some risks by taking some players that weren't as proven
Right.
in the national team. I mean, good potential players like McAllister, Fernandez, Molina,
Yeah.
and Alvarez, who on paper were, very talented, but they hadn't
Right.
really proved themselves at all. But they showed out. They were given
Yeah.
the platform to prove themselves, and they did it twice, tenfold, in my opinion.
Right.
They
Right.
had tournaments to remember.
Right.
So yes, Scaloni. absolutely deserves all the credit for bringing those players, incorporating them,
Right. No,
and getting the most
100%.
out of them.
Right. No, I completely agree. Not to mention, like, the way this World Cup started with Argentina, losing 2-1, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone
Yeah.
genuinely shocked at that, and like the criticism he received,
Oh yeah.
which, like, to an extent was fair, to another extent was just super uncalled for. But like,
Yeah.
it
Critics
was
on the
just
internet being uncalled for? Shit. News to me.
it
Yeah.
wasn't even the internet. Like, there was this commentator we were listening to, and this will be
Oh.
another tangent in a little bit. But when we were watching this game, like, in the hobby and I were pissed at this. Is like, he said the best team doesn't always win, and we're like, what do you mean the
Well,
best team
like
doesn't always
in this match in particular, didn't really make that much sense
Yeah.
since Argentina, in my opinion, like not even like being biased, like they were the better team throughout the
Yeah.
whole match.
I mean, stat
I
wise,
mean,
they were really good too, and but that's a tangent of something else. But
yeah.
but like, him, going from being an upset of the World Cup to winning the World Cup and completely turning it around, it says a lot for him.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's mental fortitude, making sure the heads don't drop in the locker room.
Right.
Um, and being able to, I mean, in this World Cup, especially, it felt like, from match day to match day, it felt really short. So like he had to
Right.
make sure that
Right.
these players were ready in a brief amount of time to be, hey, we don't have the time to feel sorry for ourselves.
Right.
We need to,
Exactly.
we need to put ourselves in a position where we control our destiny and don't rely on other, results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and Argentina did that by winning their next two games.
Right. And
So absolutely big props to him and the squad for being able to do that.
right. And not all teams get along well with their coaches either, regardless, if they're what they're repping or what they're doing. But the fact is, read his team, he got it to work together, and it's like he got it all done. And it's such a weird thing to say that on his first time he won. But
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's peaked at that, but it's like, what do we expect next from him then? Because everyone's gonna keep an eye on Argentina. Always the ex champions are everyone has their eye on them and stuff.
No, absolutely.
So and maybe Argentina will come back in 4 years, even if they have a different team no longer having Messi, or Messi saying he might come back, because he says he wants to play as a champion. We'll see how that
Yeah.
goes, and just goes off and completely annihilates.
Yeah.
He comes back and he does it again. It's just it's something to be had in the future. But at least saying that you can do it first try is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to your point about Messi, I mean, he'll be 39
Yeah.
at that point, in 2026. But I mean, hey, if Danny Alves can do it, why can't Messi?
Yeah, I mean,
Anyways, I'm not enough
no,
enough bragging on Danny
yeah.
Alves. Yeah,
Go home, old man.
oh my goodness.
How many times
But
do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
but like you're talking about two people off the
Right,
pitch who
right.
were, sort of impacted by this. Who was your other person?
Right. So, and this is someone who you don't think about that they're on the pitch, and or they're at the games. You really don't think about it until afterwards, and you're like, oh wait, yeah, they're always there. And if you don't watch the games in Spanish, this isn't gonna make any sense to you, but we'll give you a brief recap of this anyway. And that would be Cantor. Cantor, was the fucking voice of Latin America at that point. Like, not only just Argentina, but Latin America. Like, these games, and every single game he was commenting on Argentina. He was there when they lost. He was there for every victory, qualifying to the next round, beating the round of 16, beating the round of 8, round of 4, getting to the finals, and then every single penalty, he was there calling it and yelling at the top of his lungs. He blew out his voice too, actually calling it, and he completely blew out his voice, calling it for this. And you sent who was it that sent the video? I think it was you.
me.
Yeah, it was you, Javi.
Yeah, that was me.
Sent the video to a friend of ours in the group chat, and he was just, you could see the emotion. Incredible. Hearing him, like, just, and keep in mind, this guy has been commentating for 30 years now, I think.
He's been active since 1979, actually.
Okay, so even longer. Well, damn. Yeah. Okay, he's been.
This man, I mean, he's
Yeah.
been alive to witness 3 Argentina World Cups.
Right. Right.
1978. He commented. I believe he commented during 1986. And
Yeah.
then now, I mean, even now after
Right.
experiencing, Maradona and all those other World
Right.
Cups, to see him still get that emotional, it's just such a
Right.
treasure
And
to watch because it shows his passion for the game,
yeah.
regardless of, obviously, him being Argentinian plays a big factor into it, but you know, that call, he puts, such a similar, if not, equal level of
Oh
passion
yeah, I
into
know.
each and every call
Yeah.
for every single game he does,
Even
and
for
it's just
France,
wonderful.
like he was still animated for France too, and like the fact that he's so unbiased, I could never do that. I just like remain unbiased while also being so hyped for these games. I don't think it takes a real metal to do, to stand up
Absolutely.
to that. And then not only on top of that, like if he arguably sees Messi in his final World Cup finally get a World Cup win that he's been playing for what 15 16 more than that at this point years now,
Hmm.
and he's literally watched Messi grow up on the pitch. He's watching his country's hero, and then see him get not only that World Cup win but to be commentating while that's happening and doing it, like it's wild to really think about that. And if he announced tomorrow that he's retiring from commentating, I would not blame him for a sec on like, hey, you know what? Go out on top along with your team at that point. There would be nothing. For me, it's like it's him. That's his moment to walk off into the sunset.
Absolutely. 100%. And when Andres Cantor does eventually, leave the commentary world, it's going to leave a huge void to fill for everyone, especially those of us that have grown up, hearing his calls, and you know, I'm going to go as far as to say blessed
Yeah,
to hear his calls,
and if
because
you no, go ahead, finish up.
because because his contributions to the game are something that can't be easily replicated by anyone.
Yeah,
I mean, he brings an energy and uh investment into the game that fans could not really sort of understand unless you watched it,
yeah,
and it's gonna be hard.
yeah,
It's gonna be hard. I mean, I was it's like that meme of like crying in the club. I was watching that video while I was eating tacos, and I actually started tearing up because this is someone who's carried us throughout my whole my childhood and my adult life so far.
yeah,
So it's just
yeah.
it's just gonna be sad, but I'm thankful to have been able to hear his calls.
Yeah, and and if you guys don't know who Consort is, if you need like a little bit of help with that, the 2010 World Cup, South Africa, he was the one who really got it hyped on, like he was the one who started all like the challenges of everyone trying to yell goal, and like all the commentators who were trying to match him, and obviously no one could because he's a musician on top of that, like he's an actual singer on top of that, so like he knows how to carry his voice and for an extended period of time, but he was the
Yeah.
one who started that entire challenge, and everyone was coming in after that, trying to. But yeah, so if you don't know who Cantor is, if you still don't know even after that, like he again with that challenge, he's the one who really brought more of the spotlight on the World Cup, with the modern age internet, and he again, it's like he doesn't have, there is no medal or award for him at this World Cup, but like if we could give him one, I would say it'd be 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, Abby,
Um,
what about you? Like, I know you've listened to some of those games in Spanish too. Like,
Yeah, of course. I very much like. Honestly, I'm the kind of person that if I hear the voice, I know it like instantly. Like it's just that
right.
recognizable because like you've just heard it all throughout your life. Like anytime I'd watch soccer with parents and everything, it was always his voice. So like I know the day he decides to retire, I'm gonna be hella depressed and never want to watch soccer
Yeah.
again for a little
oh
bit
no,
because
I,
like
I
it's gonna hurt.
agree. Oh no, it's gonna
I,
hurt.
I,
There are
But
very
like
few voices like you ever think about in sports who
yeah.
exactly.
like
What?
you never really think about it until you realize they're not there, and then you're like, oh my gosh, wait, where is this person now?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I know it's going to be a sad day, but honestly, I'm just happy he was able to see like his country's team
Oh
win
yeah,
like one
100%.
more time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Abby, you're telling me you don't want to listen to Alexi Lawless and Roger Stone? What? No?
No. Who?
Yeah, I don't think Abby even knows who those people are.
Nope.
Oh
I mean, it's like,
man.
yeah, like for those who don't like it again. I know I keep emphasizing, or like for people who don't know, because I know there are people genuinely out there who don't know. You're not a watcher. If you're not watching this, if you don't follow the sport and stuff, it doesn't make sense. But for those who might know the sport, he's essentially kind of like almost our Martin Tyler, except even more energetic. Like if Martin Tyler was like
Yeah.
over the top and energetic, not that he isn't a great guy, it's just the energy is not the same.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, I think unless anybody else has anything to say, I think this is a good place to wrap up. But I will ask one more question.
Yeah,
I'll ask one more question. If you had to describe this World Cup in one word or phrase, how would you describe it?
unpredictable.
Okay.
Stressful.
I would say rejuvenating because, this World Cup saw the return of a champion outside of Europe, and
Yeah,
that hopefully will, and another landmark again in the form of Morocco reaching the semifinal. I mean, I feel like hopefully that will pave the way for teams from other confederations to look at that
yeah,
and see that this opens up more possibilities, and
yeah.
it makes them think to themselves again, why not us,
Oh,
you know?
I mean,
El
same
It's
Salvador, make
for.
it to the round of 16 and I'll be
oh,
happy.
that's it's like that line. It's like that line from the Phineas and Ferb intro. Discover something that doesn't exist. That would be that would definitely
Yeah.
I mean,
that would definitely mimic
I mean,
those
we
tones.
with this World Cup, we saw who to keep our eyes on, though. We saw.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for Asia. I'm excited for Africa. I'm excited for Latin America. And for North America too, for like that matter.
Oh yeah.
There's
Absolutely.
so much more outside of Europe you can keep an eye on, and it showed. It really showed in this World Cup. So
Mm-hmm.
when we're back here doing this in 4 years, because I feel like we definitely would.
Absolutely.
I just know we're gonna be talking about more upsets. We're gonna be talking about who we're so happy to see, and we'll look back on this and we'll be like, yeah, this is who we called that you should pay attention to and do and keep your eye on, and they're showing up exactly how we said they.
Absolutely. Well, Abby, Zach, thank you so much for, allowing me to host this and to be a part of this and to, sort of share this experience with you both because not only has this been exciting, it's been fun, it's been
Yeah,
fun to share this experience with friends
yeah,
and to talk about these games, not just from an analytical standpoint, but as fans of the game.
yeah.
Um, so it's
Oh,
been
yeah.
absolutely wonderful. But yeah,
Oh.
and thank you to everyone who's watched these episodes up until this point. Whether you tuned in just for this episode or have been here since our review of the group stage, that was like 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I would. Oh man. Yeah. But
Thank you.
I mean that might even in 2026 that might even be longer because we're gonna get 48
Oh my
teams. Oh
god, yeah.
God.
We're gonna have to break that up into like 3 parts.
That one we might have to do into match days honestly because that
Yeah,
would be crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, thank you to Abby and Zach for joining me for this, and
yeah,
to everyone who's watched these episodes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this World Cup coverage. That's not to say that our coverage of soccer will end. If we'll kind of go back to the sort of normal, unscheduled format where if we see something that really interests us or something that warrants a lot of discussion, we'll talk about it.
yeah,
So if something in the world of soccer happens of that level, then we'll definitely make we'll try to make an episode
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, um,
So yeah,
thank
thank
just
you.
yeah,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you too, Javi.
Yeah,
This
thank
has
you,
been
Yeah,
dude.
amazing. It's
You
been
you
fun.
organized this so much. Like it may have been my idea, but you took the forefront on it. Thank you so much for
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, that's enough stalling. I don't want this to end. Thank you to everyone who tuned into Unscheduled, and I hope you guys can tune in for the next episode, which will be who knows since it's unscheduled. Thank you guys again so much, and I hope to see you all later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Don't forget to check out Abby's socials.